Every one of your children serve God. Every one of your businesses are prospering. Everything you put your hand to begins to prosper. Because why? Because God said it would, and I'm going to walk in obedience to it. I'm looking for something fresh and new. I'm not going with the old hat. I'm not going with barely get along street down at the end of the street, Heartbreak Hotel. I'm not going there. I'm going with God where the streets are gold and there's paved with souls. And I'm going with an idea that my God owns the earth and He owns all the provision in the earth. And we've listened up to a devil that's convinced the church they need to shut up and sit down and roll over and be so meek. And meekness means we put our total trust in God. It doesn't mean sitting down and not rising up to the occasion and taking a stand that our God died for us, so we're going to take the provision and we're going to run with it. You understand? Why not? Everybody say, why not me, Lord? Why not me, Lord? It's a free gift to you. And to me, it cost Him a lot, but we got a free gift. And the free gift, if we can get past our thinking, we got to get past our thinking. We got to get His thinking. It says that He give us the mind of Christ. Well, I won't say that. 32 years of starting churches and pastoring, I'm wondering what happened. Because a lot of the folks I know, none of you, of course, certainly don't act like they got the mind of Christ. They act like all they got their ear to is some defeatist devil that's telling them it's too late, too little, not enough. And God says, I give you more than enough. I've got whatever you can think or dream, I'll shoot beyond that. Ephesians 3:20, it says there's a power that works in the believer today that's so strong that, Dennis, it's more strong than what you can even think or dream. It'll take you beyond your thought if your attitude's right. You need to check on your attitude. Remember, we did England. We had half of England. And the title of our deal, I stole it from Zig Ziglar, check up from the neck up. And that's where you need to start checking. If you got a problem, it lies right here because you've been taught wrong or you refuse teaching or something's going on that hurt you in the past and you want to ride that all the way to your grave. Say, stop. Stop. I won't go there. You say, see, declarations, you need to hear yourself. You need to say, I'm a friend of God. Why do we sing that song? Because God calls us His friend. Okay, if you're a friend of God, that's pretty good, isn't it? But on top of that, He calls us His children. And He said, I've empowered you to walk on every circumstance, all demons, everything that would come against you. I've given you the authority and the power to walk in victory so that you do not have to give up. This is a season of change. Let me tell you something. The Spirit of the living God is taking out a huge scalpel, a big double-edged sword, and He's realigning the church as we've known it in the past, and it's going to come out alive with God's Spirit and His Word like never before. And men and women are going to speak with a boldness according to Acts 4:29, that we would speak boldly the way we ought to do as we're empowered by the Spirit of God. We've got to quit being passive and complacent in our daily walk. It's not when we come here. You come here to get the Word of God, to get filled with the Spirit of God, and to be charged with the presence of God, that when you leave here, there's no devil, no demon, no circumstance that will deprive you of the things of God that He's called you to do and be. I'm so thankful for this huge crowd that is on fire for God, because it's hard to find y'all. It is. But let me tell you something. You're just right for the job. You've just on time for the job. All the things you went through in your past can be turned around by God, and He can use it in a mighty way. Where the devil tried to kill you, where he tried to rob you, God will come back and He'll put something on the inside of you that'll raise you up. You'll begin to walk with a... We need to walk with our head high. You said in pride? No, in confidence that our God puts us over and that everyone wants what we've got. We've got the true God. We got a God, and it's worth shouting about. It's worth getting excited about. It's worth, you don't have to sit around and just be. We have sat too long. We was right down in Gilbert. And we was going down there meeting every week. Cost us a lot. But evidently not enough or we'd have stayed. I wished I'd have had more to spend. And right up the road, a Presbyterian church rented an Islamic group, their fellowship hall, to raise up a group of men and women that want to kill you. They built them a new mosque right up the road. They've got probably now 500 families in Gilbert. And they at Friday night meetings, I will guarantee you, is around how are we going to kill the infidels. Now listen, if that ain't ignorance gone to seed of Americans, what is? In the church. Oh my Lord. Doesn't anybody else get ticked off and out of sorts? My granddad served in World War I. My dad went in the military. I served in the military. A lot of you have served in the military. We've lost thousands of men and women's lives to preserve our nation the way it was established to be. It is time for the church to quit being politically correct and stand up and take the power of God and do something right. Do something right. You see. Why? Because if you don't, the foreign gods keep creeping in. See, God is pretty smart. He forbid Israel from marrying, their people marrying into foreign lands that had foreign gods because He knew. And every time it happened, this nation is made up of a multitude of diversity. But what we had in common was the one true and living God. Until we gave up and we let them use our Constitution against us and let them use our laws against us. We should have been more like Australia and said, look, if you're going to cause problems here, we're sending you home. You see, why can't Christians understand that their job's not just coming supporting a local church and coming on Sunday morning and sleeping through the Wednesday night service? I'm strong enough, if you go to sleep, I don't care because I get through to your spirit man. I don't make no difference. I can go through, just be here. But what I'm saying is that when we leave here, we need to have the wisdom of God flowing through us, knowing there's a spiritual enemy that is on the rampage trying to destroy our youth, our old people, everyone that will listen about. Right down there in Costa Rica, this woman said, oh, Islam is just it's a religion of peace. I said, you're a crazy woman. Remember Pat? She was a chemist in New York, and her husband was another big educated person. Our universities is the first thing we need to attack and get them back. They're the most liberal place. That's where that Shari, that Shawali, or whatever you call, what do you call that real radical Islam? What? Dooley Hooey? No, not Dooley. Oh, no, not Shari. It's another. Anyway.